an exact computation of the Cramer-von Mises indices in a simple example. Okay, so okay, so this is an exercise. Okay, so I'll compute so in some sense it's more or less a practical session this morning, okay, but we'll do the computation together, okay? It's a very, I find it's a very nice computation, not that easy, okay? So that's why I want to do it with you. So what can we say about the denominator here? Here it's obvious that the output is absolutely continuous with respect to the Lebesgue measure, so the denominator we know that is equal to 1 divided by 6. Okay? So that's easy, we don't have to do nothing. The difficult part will be to compute the numerator. Okay? So who can tell me what is the law of x1 plus 2x2? So this is just a Gaussian because they are independent, so the sum is Gaussian. Center and the variance would be 5. Okay? So maybe I will introduce some notation. I will denote by phi of type. Maybe I could put this there. So phi iota will be the cumulative distribution function of the central, the standard Gaussian random variable. Okay. So to compute our indices, we need to compute the probability that y is less than t. Okay. So that is not too difficult. So that will just be the so here you see that this variable is positive. So t here I can take a t that is positive. So this is the same thing that the probability of the n05 Gaussian random variable is less or equal to of the logarithm of t. Okay, so this is the probability that the n01 is less or equal to ln of t divided by square root of 5. So by definition, this is just okay. And then we can compute the density of y. What would be the density of y? It would just be the derivative of this function. So it would just be, if you do the computation, you will have 1 over t square root of 5. Okay, so maybe we can put there these formulas. we will need them afterwards. So we have that the probability phi of and the density of y is just 1 over t square root of 5 square root of 2 pi okay, and now what we have to do, we have to compute the conditional cumulative distribution function. Okay, so we will do that. So now so f1 of t is just the probability that y is less or equal to t knowing x1. Okay. So if you think, this is just the probability that x1 okay, so this is the probability that x2 is less than n logarithm of t minus x1, so this is the probability that x2 is less than x1 divided by 2 now in x1. Okay, so what is this? This is just phi of ln of t minus x1 divided by 2. Okay, so here we have that the okay, and we can do the same computation for F2. So it's exactly the same thing. So this is just phi of logarithm of t minus 262. Okay. Okay. Just put here also y. Okay, so to compute the numerator, n1, what is it? It's just the integral over R of the expected value of f1 of t minus f of t squared sin f of t dt. Okay. Okay, so of course this integral is just over r plus because the law of the output is in r plus. Okay, so I can put r plus here. So now you replace f1 by its value, and so phi1 f1 divided by 2 minus minus okay, and you have the density of the output, so it's just 1 over t square root of 10 pi exponential of minus lambda log the t divided by t dt. Okay, that is just f of t. Okay. Okay, so now what I do, I just do a change of formula here, and I just say that you just do the change of formula z equal to ln of t divided by square root of 5. So what happens in that case? You will have the integral over r of, so this is square root of 5 or phi 5 of square root of 5 z minus x1 divided by 2 minus 5 of z square. The t simplifies, and you will just have exponential minus z2 divided by 2 this way square root of 2 pi. Okay, so what you see here is that this integral, we just integrate with respect to the law of x2 here. Okay, so I can rewrite this as just the expected value. So this is just the expected value of phi of x2 minus 5 of square root of 5 x2 minus x1 divided by 2 square. Okay, so you can do, I just put you the result. You can do the same computation for M2, and at the end what you will find is something like so it's the exact same formula, but you see that here the coefficients are just changing here. Okay? So what we need to compute now, I introduce some function that depends on two parameters that are just phi of x2 minus phi of alpha x2 minus beta x1 square Okay, so we want to compute Okay, so we want to compute this function that depends on two parameters, alpha and beta, for two values of these parameters. Okay? Is it okay? Okay, so the first thing we can say is that so we want to compute this guy. Okay, so what we will do, we will just develop the square. Okay, so we have 3 things to compute, so we need to compute Okay, so we need to know how to compute this one square, and the double product. Okay. So first, so the easiest one is the first one. So what will that be? So this is just the integral over R. Okay, so it's an easy computation. This one is really easy, it's just 1 divided by 3. Okay? So the second one is more tricky. So the first thing is that so first, so we know that alpha x1 minus beta x2, this is a Gaussian with parameter 0 and alpha squared plus beta squared. Okay, and I introduce three new Gaussian random variables, u1, u1 and u2 that are independent and independent of x1 and x2. Okay. Let's say v, u prime and u square. So the expected value of I can write this as the expected value of square root of alpha squared plus beta squared times v, okay, because it has the exact same law. Okay, now I will say that phi is the cumulative distribution function of the variable u. Okay, and I will use the fact that the expectation is the expectation of the conditional expectation knowing the variable v. Okay, so if you do that, okay, you will have that this expectation you can just write it as the expectation of I can just write this thing like that. Okay? So now what I will do is that I can say that this square is, in fact, is the product of this one with an independent copy of this one. So I can write this like that. So knowing V. So I just need U and U prime, sorry. U prime. Okay, and now since now conditional on V, this one and this one are independent, you can just say that this will just be okay, and now you use that the expectation of the conditional expectation is just the expectation to get that this one is equal to okay. And if I write that in terms of probability, this is just the probability that U is less or equal of square root of alpha square plus beta square V, and U prime less or equal to plus beta square V. Okay, so we saw that this function is in fact a function that depends on the square root of alpha square plus beta square. Okay, so we recall, so if I say that G of A, okay, so G of A is exactly this guy. What is G of A is just so it's phi of ax squared times phi prime of x dx. Okay, so it's easy to compute the derivative of G. What is G prime of A? Okay, so you can compute it as you want. So for example, you can say that it's 2V okay, so when you do this as an integral, so that will be 2z phi of az exponential of minus a square z square divided by 2. Okay? So now what you do an integration by part. Okay? Okay, so with you separate in two with this will be one of your function and that will be the other one. Okay. So what you find something like okay, so you just do your integration by part. Okay, this term, since this guy goes to 0 and plus and minus infinity, this one is equal to 0. Okay, so you just have that one, and this is easy to. So now you just have. So at the end, the last term you know how to integrate it. So at the end, what you find is that it is equals to a plus a2 plus 1 p pi So this is just the density of a Gaussian. So at the end here, you just recognize the density of some Gaussian. And as you know that the integral of the density of the Gaussian is 1, you can compute this integral easily. Okay? Okay, so so I know the derivatives. Okay, so now to know g, I have to know the value at that point. So if I compute g of 1, okay, so 1 is when I take alpha square plus beta square, square root of alpha square plus beta square equal to 1. So it just, what is it? It's just the probability that u is less than v and u prime is less than v. Okay? And what would be that? It's 1 over 3, okay? When you have random variables that are absolutely continuous and the same distribution, any order of the random variable appears with a uniform distribution. Okay, so that would appear with probability 1/4. Or you can compute it directly. Here is the computation we did before. Okay. Okay, so now g of a will just be the constant plus the integral from 1 to a of square root of 2a plus 1 dA. So maybe I should put an x here. Okay. And what is the value of this integral? Do you know it? Someone can tell me what is the derivative of the function arctangent? So this is okay. So if you compute the derivative of arctangent of square root of 2x squared plus 1, it's a kind of miracle, but you will exactly find this guy. Okay? So it's just a miracle here. Okay, so at the end we have that g of 1 is 1/3 the arctangent of square root of 2a squared plus 1 minus, so I have 1 over p, I think, somewhere. There's a 1 over p missing here. Minus 1 over p. Okay, and we know that arctangent of square root of 3 is p divided by 3. So at the end, we just find that g of a is just 1 over p okay, so this is just with r equal square root of alpha 2. Okay, so now we know to compute 2 of the 3 terms we needed to compute. Okay, so now we have to compute the double product. Okay, so in the same way, so you do more or less the same computation. So the double product was exactly so if you do the same thing, you will find something that okay, so you do the exact same computation and you find that, but recall that we want to compute that for alpha beta is square root of 5 divided by 2 and 1/2, and the other one was square root of 5 and 2, I think. Okay. So what happens for these 2 points is that they satisfy this set describes that square root of 1 plus beta squared divided by alpha squared is equal to 1. So this is easy to compute. This is just 1 divided by 3. Okay, so now we can put everything together and we obtain the indices at the end.
Sir?
Yeah?
Do you somehow assume that u less than equal to v and u dash less than equal to v is independent event?
No.
So how the probability u less than equal to v, u prime less than equal to v is going to be?
When you have, yeah, you have, so I have, you have 3 random variables that are independent, okay? If they were independent, if those two events were independent, well, what you will find is something like 1 divided by 4, because it will happen with probability 1/2, and this will happen with probability 1/2. But I don't have 1/4, I got 1/3, okay? So let me explain you why this is true. When you have 3 random variables that are independent with the same continuous distribution, okay, that is the case here, what happens is that any order, so you have 6 possible orders, okay? Any of them happens with probability 1 divided by 6, okay? And the events we are looking is 2 of the 6 possibilities. So it's 1 divided by 3, okay? So let me finish. So now we can put everything together, and at the end what you obtain is so this is not the numerator, but everything, because I divided by 1 divided by 6, so I multiply by 6, okay, and you will have arctangent of square root of 19 minus 2. So this is approximately equal 0.1145, and this is approximately 0. Okay. So this was just an example. So you see that the function was not too complicated. Okay, it was just the exponential of the sum of two Gaussians. Okay, but you see that the computation, the exact computation to have the indices, even for this simple example, is not that easy. That easy. Okay. So maybe I can present you the thing I didn't with the article. We have the article online here.